Howdy, I'm Lee Wilson, and this is TGO Wyoming, on the move. And today has been a day. So, the Land Cruiser, has not given me any problems since I've gotten it. And I've logged in a little over 2,000 miles since I bought the vehicle, and I've had no real issues aside from like one high-speed wobble, which was a tire balancing issue, and a few other little minor things, nothing major. It's never left me dead in the water. That is, until this morning. It is now 7 minutes after 9 a.m. and I am an hour and 7 minutes late for work. Why, you ask? Well, that's a very good question, and I will tell you why. So, little preface here. My house has alley access, right? So we've got the garage out back, which, of course, I've never actually parked a vehicle in a garage in my life. But we do have the garage out back with several parking spots in front of it and a couple off to the side. And I get in the Land Cruiser this morning and I'm all ready to go. It's like I leave at 7:40, wife and Munchkin's still sleeping. I've got my lunch made. I've got everything ready for the day, and I'm off to a good start. I hop in the Land Cruiser, it fires right up, and I back it down the driveway into the alley. Now, my wife parks her Trailblazer right next to my Land Cruiser, so I kind of have to back up at an angle and then go forward, and boom, I'm good to go. Well, as soon as I hit the brakes and reach for the shifter to put this thing into drive, glunk, the motor stops running. Just dead. So I'm like, okay, that's strange. Maybe it's stalled. It does have a pretty low idle. And I turn it over, and it turns over just fine. No problem. Nothing. Just gunk. Okay. Thinking, well, heck, maybe my fuel pump went out. Because, when a fuel pump goes out, they just go out. There's no warning. It's pumping fuel, dead. I'm like, no, not a fuel pump. I can't afford a fuel pump. Not right now. So, I'm thinking, okay, there's nothing I can do to this. So I'll call the insurance company, get the insurance reinstated on my Suburban, and just drive that to work. But I gotta get this thing out of the alley. It died in the most perfect spot to completely block the alley. So there would be absolutely no way that any vehicle could get around it. So I gotta figure out, what am I gonna do? So I grab out my recovery equipment. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna grab my come along. I'm gonna pull this up the driveway, and the driveway has a little bit of an incline to it. So this being a heavy vehicle, there's no way you can push it. My neighbor Dan and I tried to, and we got it to go about a foot forward, and that was it. We got 1 foot. So, okay, come along, tow strap, right on. Well, there is no secure place to hook it to my garage. My garage is old, like 1930s old. So if I had hooked it to the garage, I probably just would have pulled the whole thing down. So that wasn't an option. Thinking, great, what am I going to do? Okay, I'll hook it to the Trailblazer, and I'll try to get a sideways tow and just pull it up into the driveway a little bit. Well, that wasn't going to work because the wife had to leave pretty quick for one of her engagements this morning here. So I was like, well, okay. I called my dad, because he was the previous owner of this vehicle, and asked him what his thoughts on this were. And he said, well, your mom had an idea. Check the fuse box. Alright. She's like, it stopped, it failed to start on her once before because the fuses, one of the fuses blew. So I start going through the internal fuse box, everything's fine. So I pop the hood open again, start digging through the fuse box. Aha! There's a 15 amp fuse popped right there. Well, I don't have any extra fuses. Damn it. That's a bad planning on my part. I'm actually on my way to O'Reilly's right now, where I'm going to get a whole lot of fuses. So I had moved my Suburban, so I went and got that, moved it back, popped a 15 amp fuse out of it, popped it in the Land Cruiser here. Bada bing, bada boom, she fired right up. Now granted, we had sprayed a lot of ether into the intake, so she is not running all that well and doesn't want to idle very high at the moment, but I'm sure that'll even out as soon as the ether works its way out of the the intake system. So the moral of the story is, sometimes it's a simple fix. Sometimes it's not, but sometimes it's a simple fix, and be grateful for the simple fixes. And for the love of God and all that is holy, or whatever deity you worship, or none at all. Maybe it's the great meatball in the sky. I don't know, spaghetti monster. Have some extra fuses. So, on that note, I'm going to run into O'Reilly's, and I'm going to buy myself a lot of fuses, and we'll hope the rest of the day goes a little bit smoother than this morning. So on that note, thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe, shoot straight, and don't forget to subscribe for more great videos.